Soft and Quiet is not horror. It's not thriller. It's giving torture porn. And I'm about to spoil it for you because I feel like somebody needs to. This is Emily. Emily's a school teacher and she's had a rough day. She was crying in the bathroom and, you know, avoiding the cleaning lady. I don't think she does well with confrontation because she sent a child to go talk to that woman. But even though she's having a rough day, she's still gonna go see her group of who we think are friends. She has some type of function to go to because look, she's carrying a pie. Well, apparently this function takes place in a church in the woods. But I mean, the group of friends is looking pretty normal to me. That is until she unveils the pie and it's a Nazi symbol. And then we see the board and it says the Aryan Daughters. And this is supposedly supposed to be a support group to talk about the unfairness they face for just telling the truth every day. The four main people is, of course, Emily, the school teacher, Anne, who doesn't really belong there. She just wants a place to bitch about her Hispanic coworker who got the promotion over her because she's brown. We have Leslie, who just got out of jail and is just trying to stay on the right path. And of course, we have Kim, the business owner, and the person who is a mother to 4 other children. During this little meeting, they talk about an array of things. How they're going to find each other the right men. How they're going to start a newsletter so that they can recruit other people. And how Emily is writing a book about the truth about where white people stand in the world. And during their little meeting, the priest happens to overhear it. And he tells her, you cannot stay here. You need to go. Don't come back. You're not part of my parish anymore, basically. Because the whole time she made sure to state that they were never doing anything wrong. They were just voicing their opinion. They're just using their First Amendment right. So she asked the woman if they want to go back to her house for wine. And she asked Kim to give them a ride to their store so that they can go get wine and talk about the newsletter that they're going to try to write. So they end up in the store. Everything is fine. They're picking out their snacks. We're watching Emily walk down the aisles looking for whatever. And then 2 Asian American women walk in. Kim tells them that she's closed. And they're like, listen, I've had a really rough day. I just need to get some wine, 1 bottle of wine. I'll be in and I'll be out. And the lady's like, no, I'm closed. You need to leave. And she's like, well, what about all these people in here? And they're like, well, I fucking work here. I'm her friend. We're just waiting for her to get off. And they're like harassing the women. That's when Emily walks up and is like, no, let them buy the bottle of wine. Because at this point, one of the women were saying, hey, I'll buy the most expensive bottle of wine here. That's when the woman in the yellow shirt taps the woman in the green shirt and says, that's her. That's his sister. Emily looks a little bit thrown off by this, but she still says, grab the fucking bottle of wine. You said you would buy the most expensive one, so buy it. She's not going to be fucking intimidated. So she grabs the bottle of wine. She walks up to the register with Emily at her back trying to intimidate her. And she pays an upcharge of $300, right? Then she tries to walk out the door. And that's when fucking Anne literally blocks her, pushes her, and just starts calling her all types of names. And of course, Leslie has to chime in with the N-word and the C-word and talking about, are they lesbians? Are they F-words? And they're like, no, we're sisters. What are you talking about? And that's when they almost get into a fight. And Kim comes running over with a gun, pointing it at them, basically saying, get out of my store, get out of my store. F you, that's why your brother is a R-word. And he's going to spend every day getting, you know, in the prison. And she's talking to Emily. And Emily has a fucking breakdown. My brother would never touch her. She's dirty. She's lying. And he's in prison because of her. At this point, Emily's husband shows up because he was told to come pick her up from the store. And he's trying to calm her down. But fucking Leslie, this rabbit dog that just got out of prison, is like, no, fuck that. They can't talk to you like that. Just tell me what you need me to do. Let's go teach them a lesson. If you don't want to do it, fuck it. I'll do it. Because I ride for my girls. I ride for my girls. Basically on some crazy ride or die shit. So they're like, oh, we're going to go play a prank on them. I know where she lives, right? And apparently we find out that Emily's been fucking stalking this girl, driving past her house every day just to check up on her. So the husband, unable to talk his wife out of this fucking craziness, is like, okay, we're gonna go, but you only have 5 minutes. They drive to this woman's house. They find the hideaway key, and that's when they get into her home. These bitches coming up to the house were disrespectful. When they get into the house, the first thing they do is put that dog in a little pantry closet thing near the door. Then they go making a mess around this girl's house like fucking dumbasses, because if this is supposed to be a prank, why are you making a mess so that they know that you were there? They're breaking shit, being loud. The husband's like, you got 5 minutes. He's stressed. He's stressed to the max trying to deal with this crazy bitch, Emily. She finally finds the passport. And she's like, I'm gonna burn it. That's gonna be my big prank. Woo! Because I think for some reason she thinks that they're not legally here. For a bitch who's supposed to be teaching our children, she sure is dumb, right? By this time, it's past the 5 minutes. It's been like 10, maybe 15. The husband is fucking stressed to the max. He's like, bitch, we got to go. But they're like, no, it hasn't been 5 minutes. Just 5 more minutes. Just 5 more minutes. That's when they see car lights pull up. And then everybody's like, oh shit, oh shit. I thought it hadn't been that long, ho. So they turn off the lights, they hide because that's what the husband says to do. The girl walks in, calls her dog, doesn't hear or see her dog, takes off running. And the husband fucking runs after her after his wife tells him to go get her. Like, why are you listening to Emily? Emily doesn't know what the fuck she's doing or what she's talking about. So he grabs the girl. He pulls her inside, kicking and screaming. They're like fucking tying her up. And he's telling her like, no, that's not what we need to do. We need to leave. We need to leave. And he's like, hey, fuck, they seen our face. They seen our face. And as he's walking out, like to leave them, as they're trying to figure out what the fuck they're going to do with her, her sister comes walking around the carport, sees him, takes off running, and he grabs the fucking little sister and brings her inside. So at this point, the husband left. He's out because he knows his wife is fucking dumb as fuck, and he's not about to get locked up because this bitch can't keep a straight head. So crazy ass Leslie, right? Leslie's like, we need to scare the fuck out of them. That's the only way we're getting out of the shit. You need to scare the fuck out of them. Little does she know, these girls are crying, screaming, trying to hold hands. They're not letting them hold hands. Like, they're already scared. I also wanted to be known that Kim brought her gun from the store. So she got that shit pointed at this girl. They decided to take a step outside. And that's when Leslie has to take charge. And Kim is having a whole breakdown. Emily's having a breakdown. And is fucking crying. They don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. But Leslie convinced them again, we just have to scare the shit out of these girls. So they go back inside the house and Leslie starts talking to these girls, trying to be hard, but also it's weirdly like tensely sexual. It's very uncomfortable. Just basically like, you're not gonna say shit, or I'm gonna do this. And then they grab like a bag of trail mix and just start stuffing it down the sister's throat. And the girl starts choking. They start trying to like do the Heimlich maneuver, but she's not choking because it's stuck in her throat. She's choking because the bitch is allergic to peanuts. Her older sister just watched her little sister fucking die from an allergy reaction because these girls done stuffed fucking trail mix. And they're like, what the fuck do we do now? And they're like, we gotta get rid of her. We gotta get rid of her. And like, at first it was gonna be Emily, but Emily is having a whole breakdown. Like, she's out of it. The sound goes out, everything. And she turns to Leslie and she's like, you're so strong. You're so strong. You do it for me. And Leslie's like, okay, I'll do it. And she gives her a hug. And then she's like, and then after this, she'll model my clothes, right? Because this whole, I even forgot to mention this, but like, there was this whole thing where Leslie's like, yeah, I have a clothing line and I think you'd be the perfect model. And at first it was flattering, but now it's just like, it's just so fucked up because Leslie doesn't even care. She really doesn't see these people as people. She's just like, I'm gonna kill this person for you and you're gonna model my clothes and my life is gonna be better. It was fucking weird. Wow. So then Leslie, this crazy ass bitch, rabbit ass fucking dog, she gets it in her mind that in order to make it seem like it wasn't them, that she has to R-word this girl that's already been R-worded by Emily's brother, right? So she goes into the refrigerator, grabs a fucking carrot, and proceeds to do that. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. I really skipped over that because I'm not gonna watch you abuse. I'm just not. So then, after she does that a couple times, she literally grabs a pillow, right? And suffocates this fucking girl. She had a gun right there. She could have shot this bitch and put her out of her misery. But she chose, because she thinks so little. She thinks nothing of these women because they're people of color, that she suffocated her. Then we watch them wrap her and her sister in like a tarp, put them in the back of the trunk. And while they're in the trunk, we're like watching the body and we see the body move. They're going to go take these girls to the lake and they're going to drop them in the lake and weigh them down. And then like the rest of the scenes is us just watching freaking Emily struggle to get the boat, them getting out to the lake and them dropping her, both of them, into the lake. And not even probably 5 minutes later, we see the bubbles and we find out that the oldest sister, the one that got R-worded by Emily, fucking survived. And that's how that shit ends.
That's it. We don't get no justice. We don't get nothing. And that's why I said it feels like torture porn. It doesn't feel like a horror or a thriller.